Tyson Razor Ruddock dies. If he doesn't die, it doesn't count. If he's not dead, it doesn't count.
On the 20th of July over here in the UK, we got a rematch for the heavyweights. Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora 2. We always say at Boxtalk, the heavyweight division is coming back. A lot of names, a lot of contenders out there. Where do you see this fight moving?
Well, I think it's a good fight, for one thing. They are two of the brighter personalities on the heavyweight scene, not just in the UK, but anywhere. They're quirky guys. Sometimes they're kind of controversial because of their behavior. You know, with Tyson Fury, it's more because of his comments. You know, he mouths off. He's kind of a big, goofy guy. You know, Chisora, sometimes he acts a little crazy. But people like that. That attracts attention. And both guys have been moved well and developed well, and I think it's time for them to fight again. Their first fight didn't garner a lot of attention on this side of the pond, but I think the rematch will. And it's an interesting fight. I give, you know, Chisora, I think, was the favorite going into the first fight. Correct me if I'm wrong, because Tyson Fury was perceived, and rightfully so, as untested. And Chisora was seen as more of the tested of the two, but Fury definitely has more experience now. Yeah. But you know, he's also had some troubles in some of his fights. You know, the same night that Alvarez fought Austin Trout, Tyson Fury fought over here in the States against Steve Cunningham, a cruiserweight, a real good veteran fighter, but obviously the naturally smaller man. And Cunningham dropped him hard. Dropped him really hard. Yeah. And he was barely over 200 pounds, you know, but really it was more sort of the size of Fury that overwhelmed Cunningham as opposed to Fury's boxing ability. But having said that, Fury knows how to use his size. And he's not a one-dimensional fighter in there. He's always had underrated versatility. He moves around the ring pretty well for a guy that size, for a 250-pound man who's, you know, 6'8" or however tall he is, 6'9" maybe. Yeah. He moves about pretty well for a guy that size. He can switch hit. He punches on the fly pretty well. He works his jab well. I slightly favor Fury coming into this fight, but I do like Chisora's activity coming into this fight. I think that's been good for him, and I do think he will show up for this fight a lot more focused because he's grown up since that first fight, and I think Chisora overlooked Tyson Fury to an extent going into the first fight. I've taken nothing away from Fury's victory, but I don't think that was the best version of Chisora. I think definitely the best version of Chisora will show up, but I don't know about Chisora. I mean, sometimes I look at him like sort of a lower top 10 contender, and other times I kind of view him as a gatekeeper because when he steps up to the big fight, he falls short. And that just might be who he is. I mean, he might be good enough to kind of get there to the big highlight fight, the big high-profile bout, but not get over the hump, so to speak. I like Fury. I like Tyson Fury by decision, but in a good close fight.
And I know ratings are subjective and everyone has their own opinion what counts in ratings, but since their first fight, Chisora's fought the much better opposition, even with his losses and controversial decisions with Penelius, whereas Fury's fought good people, but not the type of contendership what you want for a top 10 contender.
I agree.
So even though people are feeling Fury the favorite, do you think that Chisora's experience in his recent fights are going to help him?
Yeah, absolutely. No, Chisora has matured, and he's matured not because he's gotten older, but because of who he's faced in the ring and that fight experience. And like I said, I think his activity has been good for him. He's been an active boxer, at least by modern standards. And you know, absolutely. You know, if we were ranking these guys, I would rank Chisora over Fury going into this fight. But I think Fury might have just sort of enough versatility and ring IQ to always outbox Chisora. But you know, we'll see when they get in the ring.
Yeah. I've seen Chisora in his camp while he's been training over here, and I had the privilege to see Tyson Fury a few weeks ago at a presser, and both of them are in tremendous shape and very intense. I could honestly say that both guys really believe they're going to win the fight. And I think that was going
that makes for good fights.
Yeah, they really believe it, both of them. What they told me side by side is totally different to what people are seeing. It's really, really an interesting fight.
Yeah, and like I said, this rematch definitely has more attention here in the States than their first fight did, because we're looking for new players in the heavyweight division, and we've got a couple. I mean, we've got Bermain Stavern, the newly crowned WBC title holder. Tyson Fury. I mean, sorry, not Tyson Fury, but Deontay Wilder. We'll see what he can do. We'll see if he gets the next shot at that, the next crack at that WBC title. But Stavern and Wilder is a fight that I think fight fans want to see, and whoever emerges from there, people are going to want to match that fighter with the winner of the Chisora Fury rematch. So there's some. It's new blood is good. Yeah, it's definitely good. I mean, it's the heavyweight division for the last 5 or 6 years has been the Klitschko brothers and everybody else. And that was fine for I guess German boxing fans, Ukrainian fans, and Klitschko fans, but for everyone else, that show got a little bit tiresome. So we're ready for new blood, and we're ready for just competition. There's different styles. Fury's style is totally different from Chisora's pressure fighting style, and Bermain Stavern is a boxer puncher with a lot of athleticism and underrated skill, and of course Deontay Wilder, he's the bomber. He's this big, athletic, tall, rangy puncher, just a pure puncher. His boxing ability isn't that great. He's still unproven over the distance. There's a lot of question marks about him, but he doesn't have a question mark regarding his speed, power, and athleticism. He is an explosive, dynamic fighter, and those are the kind of fighters that even casual fans get excited about.
Any rumors over there when that fight's going to happen between Stavern and Wilder? Because it's still been kind of.
No, I have no idea. No, there was a WBC conference recently. Yeah. I know Don King was there, and I know that was one of the main things he was sitting down and talking to Mauricio Suleiman about is, whether or not his fighter Stavern has to go into that immediate title elimination match with Wilder, or whether or not he can get a voluntary defense under his belt. I'm sure King would prefer Stavern to get a voluntary defense and make some easy money. But if enough money, if they do have to go to purse bid, and Wilder, who's backed by Al Heyman, and as the backing of Golden Boy Promotions, Showtime, they put up a huge amount of money to make that fight happen so they can air it on the network. King might go for that. Maybe it's worth it, because I do know that Stavern's trainer, Don House, doesn't view Wilder as a threat. He thinks that, the first hard punch that Stavern lands against Wilder, it'll be over. I mean, like he told me after the Chris Arreola-Stavern rematch, he said, after Stavern gets through with him, he'll need another 31 fights to get back to any sort of semblance of prospect or contender status. So he's taken him 31 fights to get here, so it'll take another 31 for them to build him back up after what Stavern does to him. So I know I don't think the Stavern camp is afraid to get in there with the Bronze Bomber, which I think is good. I prefer to see Stavern go right into a significant match, because he's so inactive as it is. You want to see him really build on the momentum that he created with that rematch knockout of Chris Arreola.
Yeah. Final thing, with obviously the Chisora Fury fights having a possible eliminator for a title shot down the line with Vladimir, even though we don't see it ideally happening, do you think the winner of this fight deserves a title shot?
I'm sorry, Ryan. Can you repeat that? This voice faded out.
Yeah. Chisora versus Fury is for a eliminator for a title shot with Vladimir. Do you think the winner of that fight deserves a title shot, or do you think they need one more to go forward?
Honestly, I don't think the winner of Fury Chisora deserves, just on their merit, just based on who they fought to get there. I think there probably are worthier guys. I honestly, I view Klitschko as the real champion. He's recognized by Ring Magazine as the heavyweight champion, and he has all the other titles apart from the WBC title. So in my mind, Stavern having that last piece of the heavyweight pie is the most deserving challenger for Klitschko. Now, I know within the boxing industry and the boxing world, they're separate champions, and maybe they want to do their own business before unifying the title 100%. But I think that Stavern and even that guy Kubrat Pulov, the undefeated guy, Cobra, who is the IBF mandatory for Klitschko, they're a little bit more worthy of fighting Klitschko as a challenger. However, having said that, I do think the winner of Chisora and Tyson Fury, their rematch, I think the winner of that rematch is worthy in terms of the marketability and the fan base, the attention that they would drive towards that heavyweight championship match with Vladimir Klitschko, particularly if it's Tyson Fury, who really talks a good game. But even if it was Chisora, don't forget there's that history with the Klitschkos. Chisora fought Vitaly a few years ago, and I thought he acquitted himself quite well. I thought Klitschko was going to knock Chisora out, and he did not. And Chisora really got in his grill. I think I scored that fight like 116, 112. So I gave 4 rounds, which, constitutes a competitive fight against Vitaly Klitschko. So there's some storylines there. Chisora, he smacked Vitaly, and he was Del Boy was being the bad boy, before and after that promotion. So there would be a lot of interest with a Vladimir Klitschko Del Boy Chisora matchup. But I just think that with the personality and the undefeated record that he would have if he used to beat Chisora in their rematch, I think Tyson Fury, the way he talks, just his personality, I think he would, and also his size too. It's so rare that you see a Klitschko in with a big guy that has a little bit of ability. And Fury does have some ability. Like I said, his versatility in the ring is a bit underrated. So I just think that fight would be tremendous, obviously in Europe, but because of the respect Klitschko has and how long he's been on top, and because of the personality of Tyson Fury, I think that fight would create waves here in the U.S. as well. And that's always good when the heavyweight division is getting a lot of worldwide attention.
Yeah. Hey, Dougie, thank you very much for speaking to Boxtalk again.
Hey, Ryan, anytime.
Yeah, thank you very much.